That's my inspiration. It's a headmistress after one of his policies on education.
That's the Remain camp, hitting the phones.
Boris digging himself out of another situation.
Well, this is week 17 of the big Brexit debate, and it's all Go this week. There's a speech from Gove, which shocked everyone because it was sort of not terrible.
What I quite like is the fact that they've all been talking about how they don't want to scare anyone into making a decision, and then Michael Gove compared it to a hostage situation, which is... it feels like this sort of the opposite.
Yes, he said, if we vote to stay in the EU, we are voting to be a hostage, locked in the boot of a car, driven by others to a place and at a pace that we have no control over.
Do you know what I think the problem is that when people use analogies that are purely from their own life experience? I just think that's...
Well, it's funny you should say that. The Sun mocked up a picture to show us what that would look like.
That's an old NUT promotional photo, isn't it?
There's some teachers in.
George Osborne said that leaving the EU would cost £4,300 per household. Who'd be taking it?
The economy's going to shrink by 6%, apparently, if we leave the EU, so this money would not be available.
George Osborne put out this massive dossier with, like, loads of equations and dummy variables and all of this crap.
Let's have a look at that equation.
Who... You know, if you're trying to get somebody on side to an argument, you don't use algebra. That's
not the real one, is it?
That's what people hate.
That's the real equation.
That is the equation that George Osborne unveiled.
These are all variables that you can't predict, so those equations are absolutely meaningless.
The last four letters seem to spell Egypt.
Who was with George Osborne when he made his big speech? Did you see that?
Liz Truss was there?
It was Environment Secretary Liz Truss. She's not always been a big fan of the EU, of course.
No.
And she was once quite worried about how much of their dairy produce comes to Britain.
We couldn't see that, could we?
Let's have a look.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
But if the consequences of leaving the EU are so terrible, why are they letting us vote on it at all?
Well, it's... Am I going to get into this? I'm a positive person. Basically, I start this discussion with, if we want a world where 7 billion people all have a fair chance, we've got to try and make Europe work. If we want to make it work, we've got to be inside it to make it work. Running and hiding's just not the British way. Standing and fighting is what we should do, so I'm for standing and fighting.